What's going on, partners? Today we're going to talk about prison tattoos. During the Pelican Bay hunger strike, inmates brought attention to an unfair, unjust prison gang validation process that would take inmates out of general population and they would get placed in the SHU if it was determined they were prison gang affiliated. According to these inmates, they were validated for no real reason, and they come up with some explanations, like this one.
For their validation points, is like one of the things we went through the hunger strike was they had somebody that informed on me. The other thing is they said they had like a third-party mailing, meaning I'm sending a letter here, which goes to somewhere else, and it reverts back. And the other one was a drawing. You know
those drawings,
look,
man.
in all reality, the two don't really mean nothing other than what the informer was saying.
What do you mean by drawings?
So drawings, they look for, like, said the pattern of this wood, they'll say that's gang related. You know, whatever they could conceive as what's gang related, you know.
If you're Mexican, you draw a Mexican eagle, a Mexican flag, hey, that's affiliated. There's something going on there.
You do a revolutionary drawing, you do Aztec drawing, you know, it's gang related to them. But the cool part about it is you'll see them and they got the tattoos of the same stuff. You're like,
wow,
you're not gang related?
Ironic. That's
crazy.
crazy.
You ain't in the SHU.
According to them, it's always just a drawing, always just a note, and the tattoos are not gang affiliated. However, in my experience, it has always been gang affiliated. These guys just play the victim and they deny. And they always try to flip the script. You have the same tattoos. Aren't you gang related? I may have a similar tattoo. Remember, law enforcement is a paramilitary organization. We have a lot of military members. So this profession naturally carries a warrior culture. In a warrior culture, tattoos and body arts have been historic. However, tattoos in prisons are very different. There are some tattoos that you're not supposed to have.
How do you earn a swastika tattoo in prison? Swastikas plus many other designs from many other cultures that have been stolen by people who have a whole lot of twisted branches in their family tree have to be earned if you're going to get one in prison. Here's two relevant examples, the swastika and the SS bolt, and you earn these by violently assaulting people of other races. I don't know about prisons everywhere in the US, but I do know that out here on the West Coast, if you show up to prison with either of those tattoos, they're going to check you on what work you put in and who authorized you to get those tattoos. If you don't say the right answer, they're going to make you remove those tattoos. They're probably going to beat the shit out of you.
There are certain tattoos that you're not supposed to have. And if law enforcement identifies you as having those tattoos and you are freely walking throughout the yard, then you have affiliation with the prison gang. They're not going to allow you to walk the main line freely displaying those tattoos. It's just not going to happen. Up next is Dubs telling us about tattoos in prison.
Every tattoo that I have on me, I earned. And I got them after I earned it. You don't put stuff on you and then, hey, you know, hey guys, you don't do that, right? Now, here's the problem. I have a lot of ink on me. And there could be an individual out here who's in the street life, who happens to see me, actually may even see me here, and says, damn, me, I like that certain tattoo that he has on him. I want to get that. It happens in the barrios when older vatos parole and they go to the neighborhood. And these youngsters say, hey, oh, that's a fucking feign tattoo. And they put it on them. They don't know what it means. And my thing is, shit, as long as you stay your ass on the streets, you're fine. You're all right. But there's certain tattoos that when you put them on you and you hit the joint, especially if you're a youngster, they'll be like, huh? Like, okay. And you come off as a crash test dummy immediately. There's not going to be sympathy. Oh, he probably didn't know what he's doing. Nah. You should have asked. Your older homeboy should have checked you. There, you should know in your barrio, there's certain tattoos where you do not put them on you unless you went to the joint and put in that work.
So this claim of them getting falsely accused of them not being associated with prison gangs, completely false. Now, another separation that these guys like to claim is, I'm a street gangster, not a prison gang. It doesn't matter. Gangs are being controlled from within prison. The Mexican mafia controls most of the Hispanic gangs. Santo.gee production is going to show us a quick documentary of briefly explaining the validation process. Then he's going to give us his opinion. Then I'll break down a few issues in the process.
I'm going to let you guys hear from them how they classified it, and then I'm going to give you my full reaction. Let's get into it.
I started reporting on prisons. This was almost 20 years ago, and I became very interested in the conditions at Pelican Bay and what men needed to do to sustain themselves in this very long-term isolation. Pelican Bay State Prison is California's highest security lockup, and it was inmates. And policy was, we're going to give you the worst of the worst. The determination was made to identify prison gang members and get them off the general population through a validation process because they're a danger to the safety of others and the security of the institution, so they have to be isolated. We had an intelligence unit that basically did all of the validations. Validating prison gang members was pretty, gathering the evidence was pretty easy. There were fixed terms and there were indeterminate terms. Possession of a weapon or stabbing another inmate, they would get a fixed term, maybe 6 months, 9 months, 18 months. And the indeterminate term was safe for the prison gang members because our policy said if you're identified as a prison gang member, you're validated as a prison gang member, you pose a threat to the security of the institution. It could have been your correspondence was read and came, investigators felt that that was gang related, so that would be 1 point. We searched your cell and we found drawings that indicated that you were a gang member. So now you haven't committed an overt act yet, but we have 3 pieces of evidence that we identify you as a gang member. I ain't no gangster, I'm just in prison doing my time. Why are you guys gonna throw me in a hole and say I'm a gangster? Well, a gang validation is the worst thing you can get in prison. Because you ain't getting a hole. Being identified as a gang member or associate, even if you weren't, it had a lasting impact.
So there it is there, man. You guys heard it from them. I don't want to hear nobody in the comments talking about, oh, you shouldn't be saying this, and that. All I'm doing is going with what they said in this documentary, and this is coming from the ex-warden at Pelican Bay. Some other hoorah, I don't know who that white boy is that's laughing, but he's laughing when he's talking about it didn't take no time for them to find people to validate, so on and so forth. They said 3,800 people validated. Now that right there is outrageous. I don't even think there's 1,000 big homies, you know what I'm saying, on just the whole large scale. If you put the whites, the brothers, the homies, the raza up north, if you put all those 4 factions together, to be honest, I don't think you could come up with 1,000 people that they can honestly say, oh, they're pulling some kind of weight, so on and so forth. They're doing things that require that type of treatment. And the reason I say this, because I met a homie when I was in Centinela that all that happened with him is he had a wrong number inside his phone book. IGI raided his building. They went through his phone book and they ended up finding a number that was attached to something else, and he didn't even know. To be honest, he didn't even know. Somebody had told him like, hey, do me a favor, call this number, send a message for me, and he forgot to erase the number.
All right, let's stop right there. So he didn't know. Few issues with that scenario is all the homie did was have 1 number. Well, like he said, you heard it from yourself. You needed 3 points. So he needed 2 more reasons to get validated. That could have been a drawing, that could have been a kite, or even a tattoo. So we can call bullshit on his story, right? Because all he did was have a wrong number. Well, that's 1 point. Law enforcement still needs 2 points. Inmates always want to separate themselves from street gangs and prison gangs. The reality is that if you're coming into prison and you're already in a street gang, you're going to fall in place. The Mexican mafia has been in control of street gangs since the 90s.
These men are Mexican mafia, also called La M, a self-described ruthless gang of killers that already control most of the drug trade behind bars. But at meetings like this one all over Southern California, authorities tell Fox News the mafia is trying to extend their control beyond prison walls. Captured on this police surveillance tape obtained by Fox News, Mexican mafia members like Peter Sana Ojeda, here waving his arm, have ordered Hispanic gang members to stop shooting each other, a forced peace treaty.
But now they want to control the streets, and that's why they're doing it, not because they want to help the kids.
This ex-gang member, whose identity we have concealed because he fears the mafia would kill him for talking, attended 3 of the mafia-conducted meetings. And he confirms what law enforcement sources tell Fox News. It is all about drugs.
And that's what they want, to control the dope. And that's scary.
Scary because at these meetings, the mafia is stirring up.
They've been making moves for a very long time. This is in the 90s, and the same thing happened in 2012. I'm telling you from experience, these guys will deny their gang affiliation, but their face is like a billboard, telling me exactly what they've done, exactly where they're from. You can find them with the kite up the rectum, and they'll deny gang affiliation. Then why was the kite in your rectum, brother?
I really wanted to touch on like some of the symbols of the Sureños, right?
Yes, tattoos.
Yeah, the tattoos and symbols and the icons that they use. And like one of the primary ones is Mactlactomei. I know that's difficult to pronounce, but it's signified by 2 bars and 3 dots. That's actually the Mayan numeric system, right? But they put an Aztec name on it. But each bar represents 5 and each dot represents 1 for a collective of 13. Mm-hmm. Another one is Campol. People think that those 2 bars and 3 dots mean Campol, right? And that's not it at all. Yeah. Campol is also a Mayan word. Can means south and Pol is a personification. So it means southerner.
Were you proficient in that language?
In Nahuatl?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I steadfastly argued against it. I speak some Nahuatl, but not much.
Okay, he got a little bit off topic from the tattoos, but that is perfect because we'll point out that these guys are encouraged to learn a different language, and they're encouraged to learn this different language so they can secretly communicate without law enforcement knowing. So keep that in mind for a future video on communication, especially verbal communication over the phone. What he's talking about is this symbol here. And you see this symbol on a drawing, on a kite, or on a person, they're going to be prison gang related. They're going to be validated, not only by law enforcement, but by their peers. Because if you're not associated with any particular gang, you are not even going to draw that on a piece of paper as a joke. For now, partners, that is all I got. Remember to hold the line and let's hold them accountable.